Hey there, it's Allison from OnlineTeacherAllison.com, where stay-at-home moms come to learn how to teach online so they can earn an income from home. And today we are getting into kind of an uncomfortable topic because it's money. And a lot of new online teachers want to know, how can I price my online classes? I get what you're thinking. You don't want to price too high that nobody comes, but you don't want to price too low and you don't make money and you sell yourself short. You want your time is valuable and you want your online class pricing to reflect that. So if you are on a platform like OutSchool, or if you are completely independent, then you will be pricing your classes. If you choose to go the ESL platform route, like VIP Kit or Cambly, then the platform will give you a pay per class. So for every class, you're going to earn X amount of money. And there is room to increase your pay there in most instances, but it's more set in stone. So we'll just talk about OutSchool today for the ease of it. While you're watching or while you're listening, when I say OutSchool, I want you to think OutSchool or independent or any place where I set my own rate. So let's get going. So the going rate for classes are different depending on the type of class. So there's kind of two categories of online classes. You have group classes, usually small group, and you have private classes. Those are one-on-one, you and your student. And the pay is different. So if we're talking about one-on-one classes, that is private. You're going to spend an hour with that student and you're not going to make money from any other student. So those tend to run a little pricier, right? Your student has your full attention for the entire time. And usually that's about $1 a minute. Now, group classes are different. You price those based off of your max amount of kids you want. So if the most kids you want to teach is 4, you price it based off that. If the most kids you want to teach is 10 or 12, you're going to price it based off that, because parents are going to know, or students, if you're teaching adults, they're going to know that your time will be divided between other students and your price will reflect that. It will be cheaper per student, but let's say you fill up your class of 12, you might make more per hour than you would teaching a private. So if you're teaching a private student for an hour, you're going to make about $60. But if you are teaching a group, let's do a group of 10 for easy math. If you're teaching a group of 10 priced at $10 a kid for an hour, that's really cheap, you're going to make $100. So do you see the difference there? So you kind of think there's some things to think about when you do that. Some other things you think about is your experience and your education level in whatever it is you're teaching. So if I'm going to teach math lessons on OutSchool, I'm going to think about my experience teaching. Now, I do have a college degree in education, so I will think about that. But I also want to talk about, like, if you're teaching something you don't necessarily have to go to college for, like, let's say you're teaching coding and you are self-taught. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being self-taught. And I think the online world is perfect to share your expertise. Then you're going to think about that as well. How many hours have you spent teaching yourself? Because that's worth the pay, right? You spent time in it and now you are reaping the benefits. So think about that too. The third thing I want you to think about is supplies that are needed for the class. When you are listing a class on OutSchool, one of the things that you list are all of the supplies that you need. So let's say I'm listing a cooking class. These kids only meet with me one time and then we're done. We're making something easy like cookies. And I get a new group of kids the next time I teach this. I'm going to have to think about all of the ingredients to my cookies that I'm going to need for every single class I teach. The butter, the sugar, the flour, the eggs, everything. That's going to cost me money. So I want to plug that into my class price as well. So do you see where we're going here? When you're thinking about pricing your classes, I want you to think about your experience, the supplies that are needed, and how large the class is. Those 3 things so far. We're not done yet. But each of those things are going to make your class increase or decrease in price. Now, number 4, supply and demand. How many people are interested in this class you are teaching? There are some really niche topics out there that I think are great, but if I am teaching woodworking with a scroll saw, there is probably no demand for 3 and 4-year-olds. So I need to think about that. I would probably teach high schoolers or adults this, but I would not teach it to 3 and 4-year-olds. How many people are out there looking for that class? Number 1. And number 2, how many other online teachers are already out there teaching what you're teaching? So for example, morning circle groups. Do you remember those from school? We would sit down on the carpet. We would do calendar math. We'd do the weather. We'd learn something small. Circle times are really popular on OutSchool. If you search those, there are just tons. And I looked at creating those classes because they are easy, right? Those kids come every morning, every Monday, every Tuesday, whatever you decide. And you just talk about the calendar. You talk about the weather. You talk about letter sounds. You read a story and you're done. But it's so saturated. There's so many teachers already doing it that I decided not to even put my time into this. But if you think, I think I can rock morning circle group, I think I can bring something to the table that none of these other teachers are bringing, do it. So how is the supply and demand? How can you make yourself stand out? Preschool, not my joy. So I decided that was not worth it to me. But if it's your joy, go for it. Make yourself stand out. We'll get to that later, and you will rock it. All right, so let's recap. We're not done yet, but what's your experience or your education level and the topic you're teaching? What supplies are needed for your class, and how often do you have to replenish those supplies? Are you teaching private or group lessons? And then think about the supply and the demand for the topic you're teaching within your age group. The next thing is prep work. So if you have any real life teacher friends that are classroom teachers, you probably hear about the crazy expectations that are put on them from time that's required before school, after school, while they're at home, lesson planning, grading, paperwork, the list goes on and on. And the whole reason a lot of us choose to either leave the classroom and go online, or we're stay-at-home moms and we want to teach online, it's because we don't want all that extra time taken away from us. That's exactly why I left the classroom. I had my son and I wanted to be more present for him. And so prep work is a big thing for me because I do not want to be bogged down by prep work. So when you are initially creating a lesson for OutSchool, aka whatever you're teaching on, independent, whatever, when you are initially creating a lesson, you will have prep work. But if it is a lesson you're repeating over and over and over, you don't have to recreate your lesson. You don't have to recreate anything you're handing out to the students. You don't have to recreate anything that you don't have to recreate the wheel every single time. I taught a friendship bracelet class. I talk about this a lot. It was 3 days. So I made my bracelets. I made my lesson plan, how I was going to teach it, what we were going to do, and I was done. I sold that class over and over and over, and I never did any extra prep work. The only thing I did was I bought more string when I ran out. Another end is the grading. So I also taught a poetry class, and that did require a little bit of quote-unquote grading because I didn't give them a grade, but I did read their poems, and I gave them feedback when it was necessary. If we were talking about a haiku, maybe I told them, hey, this is too many syllables. Remember, haikus are 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables, 3 lines, and they're done. Or I might say, hey, maybe you can add a literary device here, like a simile or a metaphor. And we talked about it. We talked about these things in class, but maybe they forgot to add it. So I didn't do a lot of work there, and I usually did it during class time while they were writing. I kind of followed along with them. But you think about that too. How much time is that going to take from you outside of your class time? Because you want a prize for that too. Your time is valuable. Are you providing written feedback to the families? I did that sometimes. Parents loved it. It takes a lot of time. So think about that. And the very last thing is, how long is the class going to be? I kind of alluded to this already. So when you're on OutSchool or when you're independent, you can decide how long your classes are. So for example, VIP Kid was 25 minutes of class time with the student. And after that, I was expected to write written feedback to the family. What went well, what we're learning, what they're working on, what they need more practice in. And I had about 5 minutes to do that before my next class, and I got really good at it. But if you're on OutSchool, it might be a little different. It's not as formulaic because I had like this formula I just followed in my head. I memorized it. And if you're teaching a 60-minute, so on OutSchool, back to the point, 25-minute class for VIP Kid. OutSchool could be the same. A lot of them are 30 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour. It just makes scheduling really easy on both your part and the family's parts. And also, how many sessions? So with my friendship bracelet class, we met 3 times and we were done. I usually schedule it over a long weekend or the summer. My poetry class, it was a week. It was 5 days. And then we were done and we moved on. But I also had a standalone friendship bracelet class where I just taught one. I didn't teach all 3 different types of bracelets. I just taught one. And we repeated, right? So students could come back if they wanted, but I didn't tend to see repeat kids because of the nature of my class. One time I did see repeat kids was when I did number talks with them. We practiced mental math. And so they would come back every week and we would improve those skills together and practice mental math. So if I am meeting 3 different days, I want to price myself for 3 different days. I think I ran that at $20 or $30. I can't even remember. But think about now the cost of living. It's totally gone up from when I did OutSchool 2 years ago. So I would definitely price that differently to reflect the increase in the price of living, right? Like everything is so much more expensive. It's ridiculous. But so all those things to say, let's do a recap. What's your experience? What supplies are needed? Are you teaching private or group lessons? Remember, private will be about $1 a minute. Group lessons will depend on the amount of sessions. Number 4, 1 session, 3 sessions, 5 sessions, somewhere else. The supply and demand for what you're teaching, and prep work. Is any prep work required from you? So those are 6 things you can think about as you're trying to price your class. There is nothing tried and true except what's pretty accepted is the 1 minute per private class. Otherwise, it's up to you. If you want to market yourself by giving away free classes, some teachers hate it, but you do you, right? If you want to market yourself by running discounts like Black Friday, I have a Black Friday discount coming soon, so stay tuned. Make sure you get on my email list. They're going to be the first to hear. You can grab your link down below. It's also going to get you a free download as to how to teach online. I've got you set up. All the steps you need. Free PDF download, onlineteacherallison.com/platform. So you're going to get your hands on that, and then come Black Friday, I will be letting you know about my promo going on. Okay, cool. All right, so back to the point. Got derailed there. So if you want to try to show that you are really knowledgeable, because you are, don't lie about it, by increasing your pricing kind of on the top end of what everyone else is doing, do it. Try it. That's the beauty of this, is kind of fiddling with things and fiddling with your pricing, fiddling with your wording, and figure out what works best for you. And I hate this part because perfectionist in me wants to get it right the first time and be done with it. So I understand where you're coming from, but as you continue to do this, it will get easier. I promise. I keep saying that. It's really not that hard to get started. It's just the nerves you're trying to overcome. And so I want to keep telling you that you got this. You really, truly do, mama. All right? So I hope that helped. I hope that download is helpful. If it's not, shoot me an email because I tweak those. See what we're doing here? I tweak those based off your feedback. Some people have emailed me and said, this is way confusing. So I've done tweaks. So let me know and I'm happy to fix them. All right? I hope you're having the greatest week ever and we will chat soon. Bye.